is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day. A couple days ago, they announced the full spoiler for the Japanese set Mega Dream EX. Wanted to go over some of those cards with you, the art of all the illustration and special illustration rares mainly, but also wanted to go over the body of the set because with these specialty sets, they do a lot of reprints, almost all reprints. And there are going to be some pretty big cards reprinted in here. They're going to drive the value of a lot of smaller end cards from where they are now to nothing. They're going to get completely obliterated, and I want to make sure you guys are aware so that way if you have any in your binders, you can trade them in, trade them wherever you can to get some value out of them before they eventually tank. So we're going to get into that. But before we do, if you like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video, and comment down below on everything you think I got right, everything I got wrong, and everything in between. I'd love to hear your opinion. Additionally, we are doing a giveaway on this video right over here. Got it right that time. For some Phantasmal Flames ETBs. We're doing 1 ETB for every 100 subscribers we get, maximum of 6, potentially more. All you have to be eligible to do for that is to like and comment and subscribe to the channel for that video on what your favorite hit is from that set. And then we're going to do the drawing probably sometime around Christmas time. So let's get into the video. So we're going to go through the big cards that I think are going to tank. So typically, and this was true with Prismatic Evolutions, and the one before that, I don't remember which one that was. I want to say it was it wasn't Shroud of Fable. Prismatic Evolutions being the most recent one. Usually when these sets come out, there's lots of reprints and things go down big time. Now this affects mostly competitive decks, but with Pokemon, usually with Pokemon, they want to make sure these decks are as affordable as possible to play. So between battle decks and all the ancillary products they release, and then with these specialty sets, they'll reprint a lot of the more playable things into the ground to make sure as many people as possible can get into some of these games. So the big one, we're going to skip down to the trainers here because the big one is Night Stretcher. Now, Night Stretcher was hitting to about $3 or $4 a card. Reverse Hollows, obviously, usually a little more. But it has not been reprinted since Shrouded Fable when it initially came out. It has already started going down big time. It went from $3 to $4, already down to $1, $1.50. And once this thing gets reprinted, it's going to make it even worse. Now, a good example of that, I think they're reprinting it again in this set, is... where was it? Buddy Buddy Puffin. When that card initially came out, that was like $2 or $3, and it's not in this, but Earthen Vessel, that was another $3 or $4 trainer, and they got both reprinted in Prismatic Evolutions, and those things, just like Night Stretcher is now, they started to tank right before that set came out, and then bang. Now these are like 20-25 cents. Sometimes the reverse hollows can be a little more than that, but nowhere near their really heavy price point on those. And that's another big reason I wanted to talk about this, because when I'm obviously, you guys know I do bulk. One of the first things I do when I buy a Pokemon is sift for trainers, because trainers are the things that move the fastest, because every deck needs them, and there's more trainers in most decks than there are Pokemon or energy or anything else. So that's going to be a big one. Of the other trainers, since we're already down here, we'll go through them. There were a couple that were starting to pop up a little bit. Team Rocket's Petrol was getting up to like 35, 40 cents, but that's been diving down back to, your normal 10 to 15 cent floor. I usually use a 15-cent floor in Tcgplayer. Some other people go higher or lower than that, but so, reverse hollows on this might be a little more, but that's still crazy low. Lily's Determination literally came out last set. That was getting up to $2 plus. It's already going down, and with the reprint, it's going to tank that hard to, I would imagine it would go below 50 cents. There's a chance it won't. Obviously, if it's a super playable, it's going to, stymie the bleeding on some of the prices on these cards, but the fact that this is already getting reprinted and it's only been out for one set is kind of insane. A lot of Surging Sparks cards. You got Counter Gain, that wasn't ever super expensive, but that's getting reprint. Bug Catching Set, Buddy Buddy Puffin, those are getting their second reprints. Those are both in Prismatic Evolutions. Ends PP Up, that was looking like it was going to start getting into a higher price point, but that never really came to fruition. You know, only been out for a few sets. That's getting a reprint again. Sacred Ash as well from Destin Rivals was the other trainer. I think the Team Rocket's Watchtower was down here too, but again, those ones never really had a huge number attached to them. But they're still notables, especially for the competitive scene that are new reprints. And, you know, Glass Trumpet and a couple other these, they've been reprinted a couple times, but not nearly as crazy. The other huge heavy hitter is Pheasantipity EX. This thing at one point was like $13 to $15 for a base EX, and it came out of a small set in Shrouded Fable. It's already got its price cut down to $6 roughly, might be even lower as of making this video. And with a reprint in another set, it's almost lights out for this thing. It's probably going to get cut in half or more again. It is still used in quite a bit of decks, but the reprint's going to hurt it. This is probably the two cards, it and Night Stretcher. If you have copies, if you're not using them, now's the time to trade them in and get something for yourself. A couple extra cards for a master set. You know, don't let the value of those things go to waste is what I'm saying. Latias EX is another big one. I believe that one was around roughly $3 to $5, and with a reprint, I'm not going to say it 50 times. The fact that these are getting printed, the price is going to go down. So Latias is probably going to go down to like $1 or $2. There's obviously no guarantee of that, but it's almost written in sand. There's a lot of the reason why the illustration rare is so much more than Latios as well. I know a lot of people like Latias better than Latios, so that has something to do with it. But if it wasn't playable, that Latias SIR from Surging, I don't think it would be as expensive as it is. And it's a large reason why I've not tried to get that card until a year or two after it releases. You know, I've got another year or so before I even worry about that card. Another one which people might not think of is Pikachu EX. This thing is like a $4 to $5 EX, and it's going to go down as well. I don't know if it's even used that competitively. I'm actually just starting to get into the game, learning how it's played. I've been visiting Limitless a lot, which I'll put their website in the description below. But if you ever wonder what the popular decks are, or if you're starting to get into bulk on what cards to look out for, I'm constantly going through deck lists to see which are the popular Pokemon to keep an eye out for. Even if you're sorting through bulk and these cards are like 15 cents, getting those quick movers right away to get some money back as fast as possible is obviously a good thing. And that goes for a lot of cards. So you have like, for instance, Dreepy, where's it? Dreepy and Draclock? Yeah, Dreepy and Draclock. They've been kind of mainstays for a while. They're super cheap, but every now and then someone will come in and buy a playset or two. Dragapult EX, that was another one that used to be pretty expensive and then went down big time, and it's just going to keep going down. It's lost a lot of favor in the competitive scene, even though it still is used from time to time. Hoot Hoot and Noctowl. Fan Rotom from time to time. The Duskull Dusclops line. Those things used to be crazy. Dux Noir used to be $1 holo rare, holo reverse, and they were reprinted in Prismatic, tanked, and they're going to continue to stay at that level with another reprint yet again. One other card to mention is Monkey Dory. It was roughly around like 80 cents to $1, went down, and now it's got a little bit of a resurgence to where it's in like that 50 to 60 cent range. A little more for the reverses. However, with another reprint, there's just going to be so many copies of this card floating around that it's going to be hard to hold on to any value. So I don't think there was anything else noticeable. Oh, the Psyduck. That's what I want to talk about. So there were a couple other EXs like this Reshiram that were like $1 or $2 that will probably go down to a sub-bulk level. Typically, I consider bulk anything $3 or less, but especially with EXs, so many ended up being like 50 cents, 60 cents, that whenever you get one like this, that's $1, $1.50. It's worth trying to do what you can with them. The Psyduck, though, is very interesting, not just because I like Psyduck. The only way in the English sets, in the English availability, you can get this card, it's in a three-pack blister. I don't know what set it is in, or what the three-pack blister is of. I can't remember. But it's the only way you can get this card in English right now. So if this is something that is going to be coming out in the English set when it gets printed in January, This might be something you want to consider maybe getting rid of, because right now this promo, it was up to like $18 or $19. I think it's come down a lot since then. But once it's readily available in a full-fledged set, you're going to lose some value there. So make sure that if you have one of these and you're not trying to keep it in a personal collection, it might be time to, maybe get a pack or two for it. U2EX is another one. Not played a lot, but it's a popular one. And it was hovering around $2, so getting a reprint, that's going to affect that big time. But very interesting to see how many of these cards have not been out that long. Especially seeing some of the Mega Evolution stuff already is kind of insane. But yeah, so keep an eye out for those and do what you can. Now let's check with the illustration rares. Let's go to the bottom here. There were some that I'm not the biggest fan of. Obviously, the Psyduck is, we don't have to gush over that again, amazing. This Zekrom looks absolutely nasty. Like, dude, these colors just pop. Even the Zekrom from the Black, whatever set that was that just came out. It looked a lot more darker. This is a little more fun, but it's still, he's just got his hand under Zekrom's chin like it's Daenerys Stormborn from Game of Thrones. Looks absolutely stunning. The Charizard EX full art version came out, and I gotta say, that doesn't look the greatest to me. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's just because I'm comparing it to the special illustration rare from Phantasmal Flames. This just does not look as good as the other two, although they do still have that comic feel like I thought. Dreepy is probably my other favorite. There's not a lot to choose from here, but as far as just like base illustration rares, this guy it's honorary derp. This thing looks pretty cool. And I think they did this Cynthia Spiritomb, which is spoiled today. Not the biggest Spiritomb fan, but the way like the colors radiate off her face, I don't know. That looks, that's a good one. I like that one a lot. Grimmsnarl looks cool. Mega Gengar is obviously going to be $1 billion whenever that thing comes out. I think the Japanese variant of the Charizard SIR is still running in like the $400 to $500 range. I can only imagine what this thing is going to be. But the colors on this thing are just so sick. If you guys don't think Pokemon knows what they're doing when they print some of this stuff, I don't know what to tell you. So this, I don't remember when this set actually releases. Oh, next week. So, actually this Friday. So the 28th it comes out. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens with the Elite English set when it comes out in a couple months. Again, more than likely it's going to be gigantic because there's going to be something else paired with it. And even if it's not, it's 190 cards in this set alone. So Paldean Fates, that was the other specialty set I was trying to think of. That was pretty big only because of all the shiny rares. If you take away those, the base set was pretty small. So let me know what you think. I'd be interested to hear what your opinions are on some of the pricing of some of these cards. As a bulk purveyor, I have already sifted through everything I've got to make sure I get rid of some of these things as fast as possible. Because, when you're not trying to flip $500, $1,000 cards and you're scrummaging around through bulk, you're trying to get every penny you can. So I would love to hear what you guys' opinion is on that. Don't forget to check out that other video to be eligible for a Phantasmal Flames ETB. Like I said, we're going to be doing that drawing around Christmas time. Thank you very much for hanging around. Hope you had a good time and hope you learned something. We'll see you in the next video, and I'll see you later. Bye.